Welcome back guys, and we're back again. This time we're going to be doing a quick tutorial on how to build a modern house. I'm going to do it in a step-by-step process, and it's going to be about a 10-step process until we're complete. Step 1 of course is to find an actual place that you want to do it. Now I find this little bit of island, it's got a little bit of beach line here, and then it's got a little bit of island in the middle, so I think I'm quite happy with this. Gets a good bit of sunshine on here as well during the day. And I think we're ready for step 2. Step 2 is an easy one. You need to get a plan of what you want to build. Of course you can do this freehand, however I always find it better, whether it be a silly little drawing, a picture that you found on the internet, or perhaps even your own house, just get a plan in your head or something in front of you that you can follow. Step 3 is going to be leveling your floors, because of course areas don't come flat and they've usually got hills and trees, so you're going to have to spend a bit of time figure out what sort of levels your house is going to be on. It might be a multi-level house, or it might just be one, and then clear it to a nice flat easy stage to get started with. Perfect, so we've leveled out the area that we want to build on, and now we're good to go with the next step. On to the next step, and that is simply just to plan the base out. So if you've got certain areas and you just want to make sure that it fits, I tend to use just a coloured block just to make sure that these areas would actually fit. Such as, let's say mine has got a little staircase, so I want to make sure that fits, followed by a bit that actually comes out a little bit, so I'd probably have to build up the land a bit there, and it just helps you get a good idea in your head about exactly where you're going to be building. So we've got the general shape here, and as you can see we've got to fill in a bit of the land just to make sure that it matches up when we actually put the walls in. Step 5, and this isn't just really a step, it's more of a tip, but try not to build in exact squares or rectangles. Just try and change it about a bit, or if it is quite square, maybe try and add a wall that might curve a little bit more, go a little bit more circular at one of the points, just to make it look a little bit nicer. Step 6 is basically just following and building the frame that you're going to be building on. It doesn't particularly have to be the exact brick that you will be using to build. I'm just going to use oak for this case, and it will just give you a slightly better view now of what you're doing as you're starting to get a bit further on with your build, and you can see exactly where you want your walls and borders on the outside of the house. On to step 7, we can finally start getting on with some of the build now that all the pre-planning is done, and I would start with the sides. So getting all the sides done, and I'd probably start to choose some colour schemes now, or find the colours that suit the image that you're going for. And as you can see, we're starting to get a much better view of what this house is going to look like, the entranceways, and where the actual building's going to be now. Great, so all the sides of the house are now up. We've done the windows and stuff like that. However, we still have the inside to complete, and the next step will be the floors and the ceilings. And you might have noticed I've changed colour scheme slightly. I didn't really like the diorite going all the way around, and this one looked a lot more marbly. So I've gone for this look instead. Of course you can change it. Might just be a good point to pick well before you get started. So after a minute of enjoying the view, I think it's time to get back to our work again. So we have done the bottom floor, and it's starting to look quite nice now. You can actually enter the house, and it's starting to look a bit like a house rather than just a frame and walls. If we just fly around, we can see it's coming together quite nicely. So next step, of course, or part of the same step, would be to do the ceiling here. Now the picture that I'm following has a black ceiling, so I'm going to have a black overlapping ceiling. However, you choose obviously whatever colour you want to use. Of course, just remembering that it's supposed to be a modern house if you are following this tutorial, so I wouldn't go for the normal sort of stair roof that goes upwards. That tends to give it a slightly older feel to the house. I tend to go for more of a flat look, because that's usually what they have: nice clean corners and sort of flat roofs. So that's the ceiling sorted for the first level, and it's looking pretty good. Let's take a little, oh, we got a little neighbour already there. But yeah, if we go around, it's yeah, starting to take shape, and we just have to finish up the top floor now, so it obviously needs a ceiling. After that we'll get to the inside and outside, but we're getting very close to finishing this up now. With the ceilings complete on both levels, we're now starting to look a lot like the picture that I first showed of this house. So if we take a little round tour of it, you can see we've got multiple levels, and all I've used is a grey, I believe grey concrete there to make the roof, which has gone up a bit, of course, because this bit has a more concrete roof style. Now if we go inside, it also looks pretty good. However, we haven't got a staircase, so we will have to add one of them, which will take us to our next step. And that, of course, is to start decorating the inside. This is going to be where you need to start thinking about doors, accessibility, windows, although we've already done the windows, but you know, inside doors and lighting as well. For modern builds, I tend to use a combination of sea lanterns and carpets, because what it will do, well, one of two things. It will obviously light the inside of the house, and it will also light the top of it, so then your mobs won't end up spawning on top. This can easily just be covered with a bit of carpet, and then it's not really noticeable on the top. Now I'm just going to continue this for all of these roofs, because I've currently got the dark carpet on me. Then once you've done that, you can move on to doing it with a white carpet for the other areas. Once all the lighting is sorted, we now need to connect our upstairs to our downstairs, so we'll do this with some stairs. And we can create a pretty modern style by just using slabs and making a sort of open staircase straight to the top. What a lovely view. Another easy way to light up areas if they're a bit dark and you want to do it on the ground is by simply putting one on the ground and then covering that with carpet. And this leads us on to the final step, which is step 10, and that is decorating the outside just so it suits with the rest of the area. And this will usually consist of sort of matching up some of the blocks, especially where you cleared the area, and just making it look a little bit more livable, a little bit more realistic, because stuff doesn't usually just go straight up in the air. There's usually a bit of an angle or like an offset of other dirt coming off dirt, or you know, if it's like a broken mountain or something like that, just make sure that it looks a bit more broken. Perhaps put some buttons down as pebbles, and some more cobblestone. And we finally have our modern house. So if we take a quick look at it now, we're going to see that it's looking fairly like the picture that will just pop up on the screen now. We've got a little front porch and it's looking very nice. Now, of course, I know you don't all have to copy exactly this. However, I'm hoping that it will give you a good idea for some builds perhaps, or something that you'll be able to do in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.